podcast you're about to listen to is from a book series on post-qualitative, new materialist, and critical post-humanist research. I'm Karin Murris and chief editor of this new Routledge series. You can find it on the following website, www.postqualitativeresearch.com. This chapter is from In Conversation with Karin Barad, Doings of Agential Realism, edited by Karin Murris and Vivienne Bozalek. So, as far as we're concerned, and we end and with a no end at the end of the book, it would neither be possible nor appropriate to summarize the lively collection of chapters which makes up this book. So we resisted the temptation of grasping the essence of each chapter, in a kind of coda or last word at the end of the book, either, in isolation or evaluating the significance of each of the chapters for the different academic fields of inquiry from a kind of epistemic distance. The chapters can be viewed as already in relation to one another. They were written more or less simultaneously as authors were returning to the seminar, as you now know, at Monkey Valley, Northhook, near Cape Town in 2017. Performing their first paper during the event, Karin Barad tells us that as a quantum entanglement, each moment is an infinite multiplicity. Each moment of returning is a sedimenting of the world in its iterative becoming and a thickening of the relationship between each chapter and between the authors. From an ethical point of view, this book is not a collection of chapters, but a, quote, strange topology where each is inside the other. Agential realism troubles the ontology of text as independently existing bodies with precise edges and boundaries separated from their context or other text. Of course, as editors, we are not outside the chapters either, but also already implicated. Disrupting the unilinearity and chronology of the use of numbers in writing, we asked as editors that the authors to give their chapters a color as an articulation of affect. But we would like now to finish by tracing some of the entanglements through these colors, where the superposition or interference pattern is not about mixing colors, but about diffracting them through one another. The wavelengths created by each chapter's diffraction gratings, can either be amplified or neutralized by the amplitude. They can be in or out of phase with each other as waveforms, depending on the combinations of their crests and the particular ethical epistemology the reader brings to the chapters.
The chapter colors work as a storm of bioluminescent selves, which you can see on the screen, which are transparent, elongated pelagic tunicates or sea squirts found in warm seas, which pump water through their bodies, exuding flashes of light and swimming in rhythmic, gelatinous, colorful pulses through each other, bending and curving light waves, creating new prisms of rainbow colors, depending on how they are touched and from what position they are viewed. The colored chapters, like selps, were fast growing, as I'm sure those of you in this room and outside it can attest to, with the authors facing tight deadlines for iterative processes of working, reworking, and returning their chapters, following their reviewers and editors' comments. Selps grow to maturity in 48 hours, and I think some of you were put under that 48 hours maturity. The glows from teal and ultramarine created by Joanne Pierce and Adrian van Eden Water's chapters pertaining to the ontologies of oceanic bodies of water, and the red, Roseanne Reynolds, red-black, Walter, Roseanne, and Karin, and red ochre, Teresa Giosa, allow the reader to sense the flashed up political past of South African colonialism and apartheid in the thick now of the present and future. Iridescence, Vicky Romano, red brown, Sadiq Matala and Veronica Mitchell, and orange, Kai Ma and Patrick Rivers, who we didn't hear from this morning, unfortunately, allow us to reconfigure disciplinary boundaries and practices in ways that move away from those steeped in mechanized and colonial thinking. Nuances of red move through the author's chapters: red, brown, red, black, red, ochre, red, orange, and even though these colors were not decided upon in consultation with the other authors, in the same way that bodies of selves are useful because they carry carbon to the sea floor and are food for several species of fish, the conversations that the chapters in this volume initiate within and beyond Karin Barad's seminar serve to breathe life and nourishment into politico-ethico onto-epistemologies that are always already existing in diffractions through the global South and North. And we're very proud of the fact that this book was actually produced in the global South, and it is a conversation with Karin Barad's work in the global North.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you would like to know more about this chapter, please visit the website www.postqualitativeresearch.com. And please stay tuned for future podcasts.